Look, let's start with get this off of my chest because, George, thank you to the refs. How about this? After the Bruins fleecing, now I can look at a Boston team and actually thank the refs because there were some egregious calls early in the Celtics game, and Jayson Tatum got ticked off. And what have we been asking for? Thank you, basketball gods. Ha! Jayson Tatum gets ticked off, proceeds in that first half and beyond to take over the game. I mean, best player on the floor, 33 points, 13 boards, more than anything, an aggressive, dialed in, focused, ticked off Jayson Tatum. And look what he can do. No one's ever accused the guy of not being gifted, of not being talented. Hell, we're all guilty of asking for more of it. What's wrong with that as fans and media members? We want more. We want you to play angry consistently because this is always the result. 33 and 13. He was the best player on the floor, even with Jaylen Brown going off. He went off as well in this game. No Donovan Mitchell. Typical Celtics. They make it harder than it needs to be, but we already knew that was coming with this team. That was on brand. But kudos to Jayson Tatum for showing up and showing out for once. So thank you, refs, for getting him to get dialed in early and get ticked off.
And it's more than being angry at the refs. Now, he got a tech tonight.
He did.
Because he cursed at him about effing time. Whatever he said to him.
Good.
Fine, get mad at the refs, but channel it onto your opponent.
He did.
And he did that. Attacking the rim late and throughout the game. Same thing he did in Game 3, which I loved.
Yeah.
Going in, attacking, going to the rim. Bringing it to your opponent, finding your shot inside, then going outside to hit the three. And he did that again tonight, especially in the fourth quarter. I want to get to how this game was way tighter than it ever should have been.
Yeah, we can get there.
But Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing with each other, playing together.
Twice.
Closed out
2 games in a row. By the way, you brought up Game 3, and you said, Tatum was more aggressive in Game 3. Why? Because of the noise.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't really have to do much in the Heat series except what he did. I always gave him credit. I thought facilitating, boarding, grabbing boards, and just being an ultimate teammate was what was needed in the Heat series, and he did that. Game 1 against the Cavs was more of the same. But then Game 2, all hell broke loose, as we remember. That was a game the Cavs won. Tatum was just a non-factor as far as I'm concerned, wasn't aggressive enough. And we all chirped. Fans, media, everybody. He heard it. And what happens? He gets annoyed, and he goes out Game 3, and he looks like the guy that we're asked. That's what I'm saying. We're just guilty of asking for more greatness, Jayson Tatum. That's it. And then last night in Game 4, he did the same thing. But you make a good point. Him and Jaylen Brown now appearing to be on the same page as far as not staggering performances where Brown will play well, Tatum, or Tatum will play well, Brown not so much. Now they're starting to piece it together, and you love to see it. But let's talk team-wide, outside of those two. Why in the hell is a Donovan Mitchell-less Cleveland Cavaliers team, I mean, right into that game to the end, right in it. And by the way, a made 3 here or a made 3 there, I mean, that game could go either way. That was a coin flip game. We saw at the end, Celtics kind of sort of pulling away, hitting free throws, getting it done. But that Cleveland Cavaliers team without their best player, I mean, was an absolute headache and a nosebleed for the Boston Celtics.
And that's with Darius Garland leading the way. And we know this two-headed monster, but obviously his game switches. The offense runs through him instead of D. Mitch when Mitchell is out. But this is still a team that we know Karis LeVert, the bucket he was in Brooklyn, he can still be that guy in the Cavaliers given the shots and ability. For as deep of a defensive team as the Celtics are, for this to be so close, so late, right before the half, end of the third, with a minute and a half, 30 seconds to go in the game as a totality as well. Their stars shine through, their best players shine through, hit the late shots they needed to, and that's what helped them close it out. But agree, this is a team that isn't in the same neighborhood as you. No. And you take away Donovan Mitchell, it is what we've seen time and time again, where the Celtics play down to their opponents.
Right.
And even at a point, try to take the air out of the ball way too early in this game.
Right.
Dribble around late in the shot clock and miss a shot. Cleveland comes back on the other end. Either makes or misses. Missed more than they made, of course. But just not playing with I'm going to close this game out by just continue to score. You have the talent to do that. Instead, trying to get cute, kill the clock, and that was leading to the demise. A lot of iso ball. The Celtics getting out of their system. Then what worked late? Getting the ball to Jayson Tatum. Making sure he gets to the paint. If a three is there, him passing to it, or for him finding a mid-range shot, which is falling for him tonight.
Yeah.
This is just still a team that plays down to the opponent, and I really don't think they're going to get challenged until the finals. But they're going to get punched in the face by a Denver, a Minnesota,
Luka.
maybe even a Dallas.
Yeah.
With a killer on the other end of the floor in a Luka Doncic,
right.
Nikola Jokic,
Kyrie,
and Anthony Edwards, a Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And then how are these guys going to respond? Because it is a war in the West.
Yes.
And in the East, it's nothing more than a cakewalk.
Yeah, whoever comes out of the West, to your point, is going to be battle-tested and just an absolute menace. I mean, I guess hearing you talk like that, best matchup in a way would be the Thunder, who are young. They don't defend at a high level like that. Chet is, if you can imagine, even skinnier than Kristaps Porzingis. SGA is a problem, obviously, but you would think a Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum combo would at least offset what he can do. So that feels like probably the most ideal matchup. But either way, for all the things you said, for all the other teams who are options, and even the Thunder are still probably, if you put them in the Eastern Conference, a 2 or 3 seed. So, what difference does it make? It's going to be a bigger challenge, NBA Finals, should you get there.
The Celtics, what they have in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown is exactly what they did tonight. 2 guys that can get you 60.
Right.
If you're on the NBA team, you want 3 guys that can get you 60, which they have.
If
you bring a Drew Holiday or Derek White in the fold, Derek White, 3rd straight game playing bad, but Drew Holiday filling out 16 points himself. But it's the 2 guys that are going to carry this team to the finals. When they get Kristaps back, how effective will he be? Can he even make it through an entire series? We'll see. But it was good to see Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown come out, assert their shots. And for Tatum, 3rd straight game, points, assists, rebounds, leading this team, while Drew Holiday had 5 dimes himself as well. But this is when stuff got tight late, looking for each other, finding their shots and hitting it.
Yeah.
Because this was a close game, 5 points, until Jayson Tatum driving, kicks it out to Brown on the wing, hits a big-time 3.
Yeah.
Even Jayson Tatum at certain points with shots where you don't want him to take. That's a bad look, bad matchup, but he hits difficult shots. Drew Holiday doing the same thing with Evan Mobley matched up on him. So it was the vets on this team stepping up and closing this one out. But again, this is a game that was tight. And what you're going to have a team without Donovan Mitchell play more aggressive in the Cavaliers, and a team in the Celtics without Donovan Mitchell, without him as an opponent, play a little lighter. But last home game for the Cavs, most likely in this series, home crowd getting behind them, then playing well on their home floor. That's why this game was tight. It's just, again, we know the Celtics are the best team in the NBA, but how are you going to evaluate them in these bigger stages in playoff games? And that's what game-to-game is for me. Just evaluating how tested are they when they get to the finals. And that's why 3-1, go up. They're doing what they should. It's the same tone I had when they played the Miami Heat. Congrats. You beat a bad team in 5. It's going to be that with the Cavaliers. Congrats. You beat a bad team in 5.
Yeah. But they're not a bad team, George. The Cavs aren't a bad team.
They have talent,
they're limited.
But there's so much potential just left untapped.